I've been studying, as we all do, deeper and deeper. And before we go into a few poses of yin this morning, we're going to wake up our fascia. We can't expect our fascia to relax and stretch and enjoy the oxygen and the blood flow to move if we haven't woken it up. It's very tight. So if we loosen it up some, I think we'll benefit better with our breathing. So the first thing that we're going to do is it's go into your cat cow position. Put something under your knees if need be. Now the thing that's different about this cat cow than yoga is your hands are not necessarily under your shoulders. They're out a little bit farther, and your knees are not under your hips. Your toes are together and your knees are separate, if you can see that. So this is a move that's not real visible, like, ooh, it's not a real visible move. But as you raise your back up, you're going to pull your arms towards your belly and bring your thighs towards your belly. And that's awakening the fascia in the top of the legs, the bottom of the belly, or the dantian, the arms, and then let go and take a deep breath. So I'm going to let all of us do 4 or 5 of those on our own, and really concentrate on your hands are not moving, but you're resisting by pulling the arms back, pushing the thighs forward, raising the back, and release. Come back to your cat cow. One more. Well, I want to do a few more. Okay. Raise your back. Pull those arms in the shoulders, towards the chest. Pull the thighs towards the elbows, towards the front of the mat, and release. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to take our hands to the right side. One hand is on the mat, one hand is off the mat. One hand may reach out a little farther, but you don't want to be in such a bad position that you can't lower your hips, if you see what I'm doing. That's going to stretch our fascia in the opposite direction of what we just did. So take your left hip, your toes are still together, your knees are still wide. Take your left hip and lower it towards the left side, pulling those arms towards your body and up. And again, nice and slow, waking up that fascia and those connected tissues. So when we breathe, they can take in more oxygen. We're stretching. Breathe. Let's go to the other side. Left hand is off the mat. Right hand is on the mat. Left hand is stretched a little bit farther. Toes are still together. Knees are apart. Pull your body back towards your right hip. And up. And your right hip. And up. Let's do one more. Nice and slow. Right hip. And up. Okay, now let's sit back comfortable on a little blanket. Sit in whatever comfortable position is for you. Shake out your wrists a little. So we're just kneeling on them. Shaking is very good. Shake your whole body. Now, this next one is the resistance again, and the resistance is what allows the fascia to stretch because we're not moving the muscle. So you're going to take your left arm into a cactus position. Then you're going to take your right hand, bring it across to your right arm. Now you're going to want to bring your arm forward, but you're not going to do it. You're going to allow this arm to keep pushed away. So what you're doing is feeling resistance as if the arm is stuck somewheres and won't come forward, but it wants to. And that's going to release all the fascia, believe it or not, all the way up through your neck, all the way under your arm. And you push and release, push and release, push and release. Okay, now let's do the other side. Oops. Cactus on the right. Bring the left hand in, hold that arm. Try to bring that right arm to the front of your body, allowing your left arm to push it back. Release. Push it again. Each time we do a little resistance, we should feel more movement up through our neck, down underneath the arm, into the armpit, all the way up to the wrist and the hands. Okay, shake them out. Okay, this is one standing to work the lower part of our body a little bit. I'm going to stand and take your right foot over your left foot, pushing your thighs together so you can really feel some muscle in there. Take your left arm up, your right arm up. Hold that arm up and let go. Again, resistance. Pull up, let go. Pull up, let go. Now bend to the right. You don't have to bend far to feel the left side stretch. And up, and then to the left. The right side will give you a bigger stretch. Up. Do a few of these waves back and forth at your own pace. Uncross and cross your legs. Wiggle them out a little bit. Shake up the body's nervous system. And take your left foot, bring it over the right, pushing the thighs together. The right arm up, Grab it with the left hand, grab the wrist, pull it to the ceiling, and resist. Pull it to the ceiling, and resist. And do your bends one way and then the other. Nice and slow. Nothing radical with your breathing. Anything, breathe into that belly. Stretch that body. Stretch and release. Well, now, personally, I feel good about that. Personally, I feel that now, once we go into a yin position, we will have stretched the whole upper part and lower part of our body. No specific area in particular, basically just covering the entire fascia area that's there. So I want to start with a Sphinx pose this morning because that's the part of the body that we stretched, and let's see if we can really breathe into it. I'm going to do a supported Sphinx with my bolster this morning so I can get a deep relaxation into what I stretched. So you put your hands are hip width apart. Right, shoulder width apart. Palms flat on the floor. Check your neck. Make sure it's not on that string to the ceiling. Make sure the string to the top of the head is attached to a side wall so that your neck is sitting nice and square on the top of your spine. Now there's variations to this. I'm on my elbows. I have my bolster just under my rib cage. You can really feel the breath that way. The other option is to come up on your elbows. It's a little harder on your pubic bone. Takes a little muscle. It's your option, your choice. Breathe deep. Really think about your breath. Close down your eyes. Move your hands into a prayer form. For some of this waiting, rest your elbows or your chin into the palm of your hands. It allows your head to rest with ease. Feet are flat on the floor. In through the nose, all the way down to the belly. Push yourselves up. Again, let's get into a seated position. Sit in a Dandasana for a moment. Really bringing your thighs together. Look at your knees. Look at your feet. Make sure your feet are together and everything is very, very nicely in line and, nice and straight. We have a tendency to always be so crooked. Now, here, if you have the option and your body allows you to come forward, that's fine. I have a rounded back, so it does best for me to sit tall. Close down my eyes. Send my breath from my chest all the way down to my legs that I activated this morning. By crossing over the two systems and allowing them to meet with the energy in the middle. It's really funny, an eye opener when I took this class on Saturday, the 4 M's of fascia. I actually activated my fascia to the point of where I got chills in my body. I got chilly. And I guess that can be a reaction if it happens to you. It's not the room that suddenly got cold or the door that suddenly blew open. It's the body reacting to the warmthness of your breath, I think. And you get a little bit chilly. It's the same thing as in yin, deep yin classes. People have often been known to cry because they're settling in with their emotions and their body is shedding storage. So again, sit tall. As Americans, make sure your shoulders haven't climbed up around your ears. They have a tendency to do that. So keep them dropped down and back. Okay, let's bring our feet into Dandasana. Open up our hips a little bit this morning. Again, sitting tall. Placing your hands on the inside of your knees, pushing them down a little bit with the same thing. There's some resistance there. I understand it's not good to hold the resistance because then you're really forcing. So anytime you're holding something down, just let off a little bit and then resume pushing and let off a little bit and resume pushing. Hopefully when we opened the fascia on our thighs, it traveled up to our hips this morning and they're not so stiff. They'll do some nice easy walking as the day goes on, not dragging our feet, being conscious of picking up your feet. Breathe deep. Again, check your shoulders. For those of you that are fortunate enough where your knees are already on the floor. There's no deeper edge that you can go to. For those of us that have tight hips and our knees are in the air, we have to coax them to relax, to accept the breath, to move. Okay, now, if you're leaning against something, come away from that. Bring your blanket a little bit more on your mat. And let's do spinal twist. Let's take the left leg back. Mine is resting on a very hard floor. So you want it to be on the top of your foot. You want your right foot snuggled in nicely to the left thigh, making sure everything is nice and straight and nice and angled. Now you can either hold on to your feet and twist. I like to put my left hand out, my right hand back, and turn. Look to the right. Take a couple deep breaths to get there. Once you get there, hold where your body is not in pain, but you're feeling a nice, comfortable edge. You can move your eyes to the left, looking up or looking over the left shoulder. Day 2 needs some exercise, there's some movement. Breathe deep, sit tall. Take your left hand, grab your right knee if you need to change a little bit. I know it's difficult to sit still in the moments that it requires. For the relaxation. Okay, right hand down, come up to our one yang position in the morning, which is a gate pose. So your right leg is, raise your arm. We all know what gate is. Left foot, we should be on the flat side of our left foot. Stretch that left side of the body. Our edge should be much deeper now. We've worked it very hard today. Feel free to move within this position, arm over your head. Take a bind, allow the chest to open. And we'll come down and do the other side. Take the right leg up, back, flat on the foot, knee facing forward, left foot tucked in to the inside of the right thigh. If you're not fortunate enough to have your knee travel, feel free to put a bolster or a blanket or a block underneath that knee for it to be able to rest. Left hand behind, right hand on the knee, or right hand on the floor in the front. Take a keep couple breaths to turn the torso, shoulders down, chin up tall, eyes to the right, eyes looking up. Let the fascia on either side of the spine support the spine and move with ease. Count your breath. Does it have a nice pattern to it? Remember, the breath is fluid. It's fluid to the blood cells. Fascia can't work. It doesn't have blood circulation and it doesn't have oxygen. We're going to come out of that pose now. Go into your gate on the right side. Left foot's flat. Right hand is underneath the right shoulder. Arm is up tall, stretching to the ceiling, pushing the ceiling and the sky away from us. Sherry, straighten your neck a little. It shouldn't be down, it should be flat. Yep. So it's sitting on the spine and or looking up, but not looking down. Roll your arms around, take a bind, feel the chest open. Swing yourself around. Let's do a couple cat cows with your toes tucked. Breathing nice and slow. Back arises. Chest is forward. Make sure your hands are under your shoulders, different than when we started this morning. Being high. Being grateful. Let's come down. Sitting in a comfortable position. Well, this was a different yin. I didn't get any goosebumps this morning, any traveling, but that was interesting. I hope I have that experience again. I hope you all benefited from today's class, today's knowledge. Pat yourself on the back. Be grateful that you got out of bed, took the time for some self-care this morning in this beautiful community that we've created. Love you all deeply. Thanks for sharing my morning with me. We will do Qigong salute and close out the class. And then you can unmute yourself. Qigong salute by your third eye, down to your heart center, and bow. And what this does is close out the energy that we've created to store it in our body and not let it just float away. Namaste.